I do, and everyone else here appreciates your time. Okay, so we're here to talk about burnout. Who here wants to work, making loads of money, but doesn't really feel like work? Like, obviously. Okay, so I want you right now to get out your phone, and I want you to follow me on Instagram and send me a DM that says burnout, and I'm going to send you a free invite to my masterclass on this. Okay, my Instagram handle is Cherryl, but it's spelled with a C. So Cherryl, Anna Duncan. I have to change my Instagram handle because no one can ever get it. Okay, Cherryl, so it's like cherry with an L, _Anna_Duncan. And then just send me a DM that says burnout, and I'll send you an invitation.
Can you spell it once again?
Yes, _Cherryl, Anna, ANNA, and then _Duncan, DUNCAN. You have no idea how difficult my life in Germany is with this name. I can't tell you. Okay. You can also come ask me afterwards, don't worry. Okay, so burnout. I am very qualified to talk about this because I was told that I had burnout 3 times. It was only the 3rd time that I actually believed it. Can anyone relate to this? Like burnout's like, that's ridiculous. That's not an actual thing. You know, it's not a real condition. So I completely ignored it. I also was teaching yoga at the time. I do coaching. I was teaching yoga. Like, I was living the life. I was like living the life that you give up your burnout job for, you know? And someone was telling me that I'm burnt out. I was like, no thanks, that's not happening. And I ignored it and I carried on doing what I was doing. The 2nd time, I was like, okay, I hear you. I need to take a break. I'm gonna go to Sri Lanka and do an Ayurvedic course, which I did for 3.5 weeks. Amazing, amazing. I figured everything out. Yeah, I came back like totally balanced, totally high, like, oh, I figured out everything. And then just carried on doing everything exactly the same. And then again, 3 years later, again, I was diagnosed. And this time I had to go for blood tests. And then it was like in black and white, okay, no serotonin. My adrenals were shot. I was depressed. I was like, okay, maybe I need to change something. At the time, I was running an online business. So that's been my career path, like yoga forever. Coaching also for a long time. And then during COVID, I had to put my whole business online, and I was very, very motivated to do this because one of the things that I do when I'm stressed is I push more, I go harder. Anyone can relate? Like I'm stressed, I just need to double down and do more. So I created this online business. I was waking up at 6 o'clock every single morning from Monday to Friday for 3 years teaching yoga. Can you imagine? Lights, camera, action. Hi everyone, how you doing? 6:15, okay? No matter where I was traveling a lot, so I wasn't sleeping because I was always stressed out. Am I going to make it in the morning? Is the Wi-Fi going to work out? Are the lights going to be, you know, like the whole thing. Never mind the tech. I had a partner, you know, I got funding for it. I had all of these customers. I was trying to scale. I was doing all the things. And after this diagnosis, I was like, okay, I don't actually enjoy this. I hate this, which is a very big thing for me to accept, given that I was teaching yoga for like love, you know, like it was my thing for a very long time. Like, I hate this. I hate everything about what I'm doing. And then I was at such a low point that I didn't even want to do the things that I really love, like coaching, like writing. So I decided to just stop. Stop. I don't mean stop, like take it easy. I meant like give it up. Like close the business down. Tell everyone I'm not teaching yoga. And I did this very publicly also, like public announcement. I'm not teaching yoga anymore. I made a lot of people very confused because people really like you to be, especially if you helped a lot of people. They like you to be that thing, you know? So my identity was very wrapped up in what I was doing. So I stopped teaching yoga, stopped coaching, I stopped the business, and I just did nothing. I painted, I started painting, not like any meaningful way, like paint by numbers, you know, walk in the English garden. I just started doing the most basic things. And I wish I could tell you that it was amazing. Like, oh wow, it was amazing, and my whole world made sense after that. And I started getting healthy, and no. My partner was very, very confused because he's like a big, job person. Like you gotta push, you gotta do the things. He hated that I was like lying on the sofa, as he put it. I'm recovering. Everyone around me was just very confused, least of all myself, or mostly myself. And my ego absolutely hated it. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my identity was. I wasn't contributing in any way. It was really, really difficult. Until I had to let go of all of that stuff and be like, every day is the moment, like moment to moment, trying to find this kind of joy of living again. At the same time, a very, very, very important process was starting to happen. It was around about the time of the Barbie movie. Did anyone see the Barbie movie? No? Go see the Barbie movie. Okay, it's abstract, it's weird, but it's a good message. And at the time of the Barbie movie, I was going through my own internal breakup with patriarchy. That sounds very dramatic, and it was. Okay, it was. I was understanding that everything that I was doing in my life, the way I was having my relationship, the way I was working, was based on patriarchal ideas of success. And when I heard that word, or that phrase, patriarchal ideas of success, I'm like, oh, they just want women to be poor. I want to be successful. I like money. I have it, I like the things. I do. And I wasn't prepared to accept that in order to be happy and feminine and soft, that I had to also be poor. Those were that was the connection that I made in my mind. I thought that if I got into my feminine energy, I wouldn't be taken seriously. That people would think I was weak. That, yeah, sure, I might be happy, but I wouldn't be successful. And for me, it was still kind of important, because not from an outside perspective, but because I like to do the things. I like the freedom. I like the things. Did I say I like the things already? Anyway, so at that time, I was going through this patriarchal breakup with everything. It started with my father, then my boyfriend, then every man I'd ever known, and then society, and what culture had taught me about being productive, consistent, successful, and all those things. And I started understanding and getting very much in touch with the feminine. And most of us, unless you do the work, most of us in this room will be like, what is the feminine? What is that mysterious feminine that everyone keeps talking about? Okay? Because, does it mean I wear a summer dress? Does it mean I paint my nails? What is it? And that's the work. And that's the work that this space does here. It's amazing. Because the feminine is mysterious, and it has been hidden from us on purpose. It has been sold to us as a package that is weak and sweet and soft and nice. But actually, the feminine is incredibly powerful, and the feminine knows how to make money. I have a theory that money is female, 100%, Yes. And it's just looking for a way to come home, So I went through this massive transformation, and I realized that, I learned a lot. I spent a lot of time with women. And what I learned was that men, or the masculine, operates in a 24-hour cycle. That's the one thing that was already pretty life-changing. The masculine operates in a 24 cycle consistently. So they are daily routines, wake up at 5, do the thing, then another routine, and they expect it to be consistent. And the feminine operates on a 28-day cycle, and the feminine is nothing but consistent. Forget it, We are changing, we are moving, and our culture has told us that that's a bad thing. She's so flaky, she's so inconsistent, she can never know. Yeah, because she's in a different phase. And that's just one thing. There are many, many, many things. Productivity versus creativity, for example. So that's the journey that I went on. And I realized, and it took me 18 months, 18 months coming on 2 years. And during that time, I wrote a book that speaks to this stuff. My entire relationship changed. And most importantly, my relationship to work changed. And I realized that if it wasn't fun, if it wasn't pleasurable, if it wasn't, and this is probably the most important aspect, if it wasn't erotic. Like, how does work be erotic? Okay, it can be. It's like a whole thing. If it wasn't erotic, the feminine wasn't present. And I started just moving from every action I took had to feel alive. There had to be life force there. There had to be erotic energy there. There had to be pleasure. It had to be fun. Then I knew I was moving from a place of generation, like generative energy, and not burnout energy. And I still make the mistake though. I mean, just bearing in mind that it's not about giving up the masculine. Like, okay, I'm not only going to be in my feminine energy forever. No, we have both. And the masculine energy can be amazing. And masculine energy is like direction, motivation, let's go. And some days we are like that, you know, and it's all about ego. And ego is not a bad thing. It's like, you know, like I get some recognition, I get to feel like I'm contributing in some way. Like, this is great, this is wonderful. But the problem is we can get stuck there. And we can get tired, exhausted, resentful, angry, and burnt out, ultimately. And the feminine needs to be brought in at certain times. When you're needing to create, when you're needing, even strategy can be very feminine. When you're needing to connect, when you're needing to collaborate, these are all the feminine. Especially if you're in the arts in any way, if you're a healer, if you're a teacher of anything, you know, but that doesn't mean to say that if you're working in the most male-dominated tech environment that the feminine can't be present. In fact, it would be amazing to bring the feminine to those spaces. So I'm going to leave you with 3 questions to ask yourself, okay? And that's just to start. Okay? I'm not suggesting that this is the solution to your burnout, okay? I had to change my entire life in order to not work in a way that burns me out, okay? So I'm not saying that these 3 things are the cure, but they do give you a very good direction and a point to start when you're asking yourself, is this action in alignment? Okay, is this action going to make me more tired? Is this action going to make me more disconnected from my work? Okay, so the first thing is, do I even need to do it? So you imagine a task, okay? And especially a task that you're avoiding, that email you don't want to send, that presentation you need to put together, whatever it is, a conversation, the phone call, the booking, whatever it is, you think, first of all, do I even need to do it? Because we will be amazed at how much stuff we do that we don't even need to do, especially as women. It's just expected of us. And in fact, often it's not expected of us, but we somehow have told ourselves that it's expected of us, you know? Women are famous for this. They love it, you know? Like, do you have to unpack the dishwasher all the time? The only one in the household that does that, you know? So first of all, does it need to be done at all? Second, can someone else do it? Can someone else do this? And here's a secret. Ask a man. Definitely, I know it sounds counterintuitive. Men absolutely love to do things for women. They really do. Some of them don't know it, so you have to tell them. But men love to serve women. Doesn't look like it because we rarely ask. But see if someone else can do it, preferably a man. And then the third thing is, if I do have to do it, and I can't get someone else to do it, and I really do have to do it, it has to be me. The third thing is, how can I make it fun? How can I make it hot? How can I make it sexy? How can I bring life force into this? And that's where the secret is. Because often that's when the creativity comes, like, oh, I could do this in a totally different way. I could bring out all of my, you know, art pencils and big pieces of paper and, you know, like, have fun with this. Brené Brown tells the story of how she wrote her 3rd book, 4th book, I don't know, remember which one. She actually hates to sit down. Do you know who Brené Brown is? She speaks on vulnerability. She's got like a big famous thing. She speaks, amazing author and speaker about vulnerability. And she didn't want to write her last book or whichever book because she doesn't like to sit alone and write. And so she got a whole bunch of her friends and she paid them some money. She took them away for the weekend, and she said, I'm going to speak, and you're going to take notes. And that's how she wrote her book. Amazing, because she probably sat down and thought, okay, how is this fun for me? I love speaking. I love being with my friends. Let's get some. She said she got pizza and beer, and then, that's how she wrote her book. That's the feminine. That's when the feminine is present. So those are the 3 questions I'm going to leave you with, and I've left some time for questions or comments or concerns.
You said that you read a book, after which you changed your mind. And what the name of the book?
Well, what is the book? It's called The Courtesan's Code. Yes. So yeah, it's not published yet. It's still it's still in the making. It's still at a publishing phase, but I'm so happy to talk about it because this is what I coach on as well. And basically, it's taking the archetype of the courtesan. Does everyone know what a courtesan is? Okay, I know this is a problem. Okay, so between the 17th and 20th century, there were a group of women. They were not prostitutes. They were kind of like escorts, but not really, So they were paid for their time, and they were the most powerful, influential, and independent women in the history of forever, and they are largely ignored. So there are these very intelligent women. They were also often artists, writers, philosophers, and they managed to create, at a time when women had no access to wealth or money or any kind of independence, they managed to create that. And so I wrote a book about what all the things that they've done right and what we can learn from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's still not in the market?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No. But I'm busy coaching on it, so yeah, DM me. We'll talk. I want everyone to be courtesans. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
You said that work must be erotic. What did you
Oh, yes. Great question. So it was actually Freud that first said this. He said everything can be turned into the erotic. Anything can be felt sexually. I mean, sexually is a very, very crass way of saying the erotic, because the erotic is actually much more than just feeling anything here. Especially as women, we can feel the erotic through the whole body. Like if you've done a breath work session, if you've had a very deep yoga, we can feel energy. And don't worry if you haven't, that's okay. We all have this capability. People throw the word energy around, but we have this the ability to experience the erotic, not only in our genitals. So it was first Freud, and he basically said it mainly for men. The idea has evolved now, especially as we speak more about, or as the feminine awakens, that any emotion, especially emotions, can be alchemized into erotic energy. Sometimes you'll see it in movies. People are so sad, they're crying, and then they start kissing, and very deep emotions can be alchemized with a process. There is a practice for it though, into erotic energy. Your anger can be very sexy. Your sadness can be so beautiful and so deep that it draws everyone in, because it's so sexy and so beautiful. Grief, sadness, it can be like that. Jealousy can be super hot, So these things can be felt. So work, what about it can excite you? What's interesting to you? And the first process of that is to just get in touch with feeling, learning the art of receiving, how to receive energy, how to receive gifts, how to receive compliments, how to receive beauty, how to receive things around you. That's an art. And then you alchemize that into erotic energy. It's a practice, it's a thing. Yeah. So where you can start is just notice any moment in your life where you felt a little bit turned on, that it didn't quite match the situation. That's a hint. Ever felt like that? No, you can't think of it right now. Okay. I'll tell you a little secret. For me, it's fountains, for obvious reasons. Big fountains, in the middle of the city, I'm oh. And that's a practice, To start seeing the world like that, and because that's the feminine energy, receiving things, turning it into the erotic experience. If you are in a state of turn on and eroticism, you're very, very magnetic for everything. Men, money, power, everything, your girlfriends, ideas, yeah. It's magic. That's why it's so great we can talk about this like in spaces like this, because when else do we get to speak about this, you know? It's so cool. Okay, we still have a little bit of time. Anyone else? Like a couple of minutes? Yeah.
You mentioned that burnout was kind of part of your life before, right? Do you feel now prepared and ready to avoid it like another time? Do you feel like now you would catch it before because you're so stable and kind of you know how it looks like that you could fight before that?
I mean, my immediate response is, God, I hope so. But I think so, yeah. I can start to feel, and now it's about, do I have the discipline to not get sucked in?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see when it's going like that. I'm like, fuck, I need to go do breath work. I need to go do yoga. I need to be on my own. I need to journal. I need to find that thing again. Yeah, but I've got all the tools, so yes, yeah.
And what is the science? Like, could you explain that to we also could understand how when we feel it?
For me, I start doing this. When I think of like doing things, I'm like, I find myself sighing a lot, but that's my thing. It might be you start complaining, you don't want to, you know, you resent the next day, you just want to go to bed. I mean, of course, there's obvious signs like anxiety, kind of, you have no motivation. Or you're so motivated that you feel slightly wired all the time, like super wired, impatient, annoyed. Why aren't people doing it fast enough? What the fuck's wrong with you? Get out of my way. You know, people on the street are irritating you. Big sign, yeah. And you think you're on fire, like, you know, and you've had like 5 cups of coffee, you know. Yeah, and then you're like in it. That's starting to, and that's a difficult one because it also can feel good. You know, I'm so motivated, things are going to be fine. Yeah, and the world goes, wow. You know, it's a powerful feeling. Then you know, take a moment, get into the feminine, because pleasure resides in the feminine. It's
because sometimes it's a question. You can't separate when you're just tired or you're really burned out. You know, these are different feelings, but inside you can't say exactly.
exactly.
So it's like I just have to sleep, or I'm already tired of this life.
Yes, and burnout is when you're tired over a longer period of time. It's not just a day or a week. And remembering the cycles, you know, obviously sometimes we do need to just sit on the sofa with a Vam flusher, hot water bottle, yeah, and just take it all in, you know, and to not misinterpret that as something's wrong with me now. I'm exhausted, I'm tired. No, it's normal, it's natural that I have time to rest. And all different kinds of rest, and that's like a whole other thing, yeah. But thank you for your questions. As I think that's ours. Is there anyone have a burning, yeah?
I was wondering, how can you use this erotics as an energy source instead of like another task to please men, and like think of what would man find erotic? Behave that way. So
Yes.
separate this.
Oh, excellent question. I love that. Yeah, okay. So as women, we've obviously been conditioned to perform erotic, perform sexy, perform, exactly. And then there's no connection to us. And that's performative. And we all do that like naturally. We were just taught that. The erotic is coming from feeling. How do I genuinely feel turned on now? Does this person excite me? Does this situation really turn me on, and not just performative? And it might shock us. It might not look pretty traditionally, you know. It might look like screaming and raging in the mud on the floor, you know, and feeling that like tigress, you know. That's not exactly performative, you know. Most men would run from that situation, you know. But the woman who's gone through a rage experience like that and felt her power, when she walks out the house, she's attractive. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's performing versus feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, we gotta go. Thank you, Tina. Sorry. Okay, thank you so much for your time, everyone. So nice to see you. Yeah.